the Father, the Son. This is all I can send you, Kal-El. It's not who I am underneath that defines me, but what I do. You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Just because someone stumbles and loses their path doesn't mean they're lost forever. You're making me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I let my father die because I trusted him. Because he was convinced that I had to wait. That the world was not ready. What do you think? With great power comes great responsibility. We are Groot. We are Groot. We are Groot. We are Groot. We're Groot. We're Groot. We're Groot. I'm with you till the end of the line. Tell me, do you believe? You will. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. And what are you? Genius. Billionaire. Playboy. Philanthropist. I am Batman. I could do this all day. Kill any god. None of you seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. If you're nothing without suit, then you shouldn't have it. It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. And I am Iron Man. Fourth wall break inside the fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls. I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest. I would say that's morality, moral law, or ethics. What do you say?
Good morning. Hopefully everybody can hear me and I'm coming through live and okay. I haven't streamed all week, so I'm a bit out of kilter. As you get if you're not practicing things all the time, right? So bear with me. I had a really terrible week. Not the way you want to start off a podcast with, which is why I didn't do any podcasts this week, because I slipped a disc. I after last Sunday for us, Saturday for Northern Hemisphere, Sunday for New Zealand, I was picking up, cleaning up, picking up a whole bunch of Lego, and I thought, okay, we might as well finally get into sorting all this out. And I think I was up to my fifth or fourth bag, and my back just went out, like went, like an electric shock, like somebody just shoved a taser in there with a knife, with the taser, and it just yeah. If you've ever had a slip disc, you know what it's like. It's the most painful thing. It's like if you're a male, it's like being kicked on your gonads, right? And it was horrible. I just sort of like limped. It was really good because I was actually only 2 feet away from my bed, and when it happened, so I just basically limped onto the bed and got onto my side, and then lay on my back because I have a memory foam mattress topper, so it's like about 10 centimeters. So they kind of alleviated a bit, and I was just kind of like stretched out, huddled position of just like trying to bear the pain. And once I kind of like figured out what had happened, you know, the back had gone out, basically, the slip disc. I grabbed my meds. I actually take quite heavy painkillers because I already have a neck and spine injury. So this on top just wiped me out. So I decided to just not do anything for a couple of days, but I looked online straight away. I think it was a Monday, and I went, yeah, I don't think I want to keep this, have this happen right now, and I don't want to waste any time. I text my mate, and he said, look, because I knew he himself had a slip disc about last year or the year before. I think it was last year. And he said, this is what happened. I had to go get physio and all this stuff. But I've had slip disc before, so I actually have holes in my, like between an L7 and L6 discs. Like, you have your discs on each other's spine, on top of each other's bones. And so I thought, I said, yeah, what happened? He said, oh, it took me 3 months. Had to get 3 months of physio. And I said, what did they do? He goes, did they massage? He goes, oh, yeah, they twist and, get right in place. And I thought, oh, man, 3 months, I can't handle 3 months. So I decided that I was going, I'd find out how to, somebody's got to know how to make it easier. So I jumped on YouTube. I actually have it saved in our health. If you go in the playlist, it's got health in the library there. You'll find it there. 3 ways to easily fix your slip disc. And so I did a couple of the exercises. It kind of loosened up my back. And the next day, I did it again, and I had a crunch, kind of like my disc just going back in. Like I said, I've had it happen before in my 20s and 30s. When I used to live about 30, 40 kgs at a time of tiles, right? And boxes of floor tiles, the ceramic stuff, heavy stuff. And they put them on the walls as well. So they're going, they come about 50 by 50 to 40 by 30 and all that sizes. So, it's easy to like get it wrong, pick it up wrong, or lay it down wrong when you're trying to lower it back down onto a bench or something, or onto the floor. Anyway, so I looked, I did the exercises and it clicked back in, and I was like, oh, okay. It's like, sounds like it's gone back in. So all I need to do is just let the tension, the stress around the muscle, because, it kind of rips, because it's like, because everything's like stuck to each other. So when there's like a slip, it just means, this is my layman's thinking of it anyway, is that it gets torn, right? So you got to let the muscles, once it gets back in, because that's what you want. You want it to get back in, and then all the ligaments, whatever is around it, just goes back into position, healing. So I did that for the last 3 days. Wore me out, really. It just took all my energy out. I had to be like taking twice the amount of painkillers, which I don't like, because I actually, over the last couple of years, I've actually slimmed down on that, because I don't like to be, I don't like anything to affect my thinking. And, I smoke as well. Cut that out. Is to, do the weed, cut that out. And I just don't even drink that much, even though I've got alcohol in the house. Beer, wine, sake, tequila, whiskey. It's all there. Even cider that I've made myself is there. The bottles of it. I'm actually supposed to be going to a party, which reminds me, I've got to put a couple of bottles of my homemade cider mead in the freezer, because 2 of my friends are graduating and they have a party on. So you can actually watch that interview under, I think it's Julia Tapp. It's under Plungecast. I'm not sure which episode it is, but it's there. Julia Tapp and Zoe Tapp, I think it is, airbrush artists. One's a digital artist and one's an airbrush and traditional. And the daughter is a teaches traditional and digital. So it's quite interesting in that having these teachers. For us especially, I think it's really good for our community to have these quality teachers teaching art. You might have seen like the first page artwork that came up today. Let me just pop that up, and I'll show you why I put that up. Because this week, because we're trying to get our Patreon started, And so I asked one of our artists, sorry, look a bit worn out because I'm still in a bit of pain. But I just needed to do something because I'm getting stir crazy, Usually I have about 3 hours of walking around town and having talked to my friend, you know. But now, like, I've been in 2 weeks, I've just been stuck at home almost. Let me just find this. There are, nope, that's not the one. That's Strange Love Stories, something like that. TM. Here we go. Ready? Pin, nope, poster, nope, pin up. There we go. It's right at the top. Why couldn't I see it? Okay, let's share this. This is a really cool thing. Like, there we go. Now, check this out. So, if you watched our podcast, I think it was Monday morning, which was not this Monday, previous Monday. I put up this this little pin up, this little image. If I can, I'll share that as well, just to so you guys can see what I mean. It was, it took my breath away. I just thought it was just so cool. All right, so there we go. So I'll be able to share that. So this is based off a image about yay big, right? What's probably about 2 inch by 1 inch. And the reason I'm going to show you this. This is it here. So this, where are we? We're there. Here we are. So this is the bottom of a page, a comic book page. I don't actually have any comic books with me, which is like not the top 2/3, it's the bottom third, right? So it's only about that much. If you can see my hand, let me put that side by side so you can see it. What I mean. So it's basically, why are we not side by side? Side by side. Doesn't like it. All right. So this is the middle of two different panels, right? I mean, two other panels, which is like, yeah, 2 inch high by 1 inch wide, right? And I went, I really love this. We need to do something with this. So I said to Francisco Conti, who's the artist on this, and this is a second story to an anthology story, which is like I don't know what you call a two-story comic book. I just don't know what it is, like bi-story. I don't know, but I'm sure there's a word for it. Somebody's already made it up. Might have to look into it. But I said to Francisco, I said, listen, man, we've got this Patreon thing going up for mature readers, right? Mature people, right? For mature comics, which this is a part of. And, and I said, hey, look, why don't I'll give you some images, right? And can you, like photos, I found some photos of models online in clothing, right? Bikinis and stuff. And I said, hey, look, they're spread eagled, like lying on the floor, like, and so can you kind of like do 3 different images based on this, where you do a risque, and it's a robot, right? So it's a risque or a let me see, let me grab that other one so you can see it better. Not that one. Right. So you can see it there. It's like, so I said, hey, do this really cool, take this little character here and do something magical with it. And I realized, while I've got, like, Francisco was supposed to work with me, like when he first came to me, we had him to work, start on a different comic book. I had which is called Red Dot TM, right? So Red Dot is a vigilante on a motorbike who's a former SAS captain, right? Which is like our New Zealand's Green Beret, right? And so he did it, and I went back to, I said, hey man, like maybe we should do something else with you, because I've seen your work, and I don't think doing this vigilante one will work for you. And so I said, hey, how about this one and this one? I said, like, I've got this story, and which is the first story for this, which is Robot Nation. I've got this idea. I actually offered it to somebody else about 2 years earlier, and they looked at it and said, oh, yeah, it's not my thing, and we just left it. And then Francisco came across, and I went, hey, man, how about we do this one? And he just blew me away. Like, it's like he just totally fell in love with it. It's like, it's his thing. It's like he basically went, this is what I want to do. And so I found that, like, okay, so you know what, we'll do this 12 page, we'll do the 16 page with the Trouble Bobo TM, right? Which is this story from. So this is one set in space, and the whole idea behind Robot Nation is it's got to do with robots. They're the main characters, kind of thing, right? Or it has to do with them being in it. And like I mentioned in previous things, this story comes around about 2007, Robot Nation itself. And so the idea behind it was, this one, and then there was another story called Pragbot, right, which has changed names by now. So we already got set up for the next two stories, and probably a friggin' 90-page or a 45 to a 90-page story on its own, based off a little short that we're going to put in the next issue. So I said, hey, look, we'll do this. We'll do the three different, we take a normal, you can show to everybody, and then we can do the risque kind of thing, and then we'll do a nude version of this character. So in my head, I'm thinking, what else? He comes back with all three within a couple of days, and he said, I really had fun with this. I said, I know, I can tell by the artwork you're putting out. I can tell that you're enjoying yourself doing this, and I just want to keep you working on this, because it's such a cool work. And let me get myself smaller so you can see it. So, this is just the pencils, right? It's not inked yet. It's not colored. Right, I'm over there. So I'm looking at two other screens over that side, but they're facing that way. So I have to go around it to see if I'm on the right place. But yeah, so, just the details on this is amazing. I told him this gun is based off another story that we're doing that'll be in the next issue, right? Because this is like a 28-page comic book, 12 plus 16, yeah, 28-page comic book with all the back matter and stuff, and all the others will come up. I think it's going to be about 36 pages when it's complete. And so this is stuff I grew up on, this sort of art, and which is what really makes me happy, working with Francisco, right? There's a signature right there, right? And I'm just amazed by having such amazing talent work with me, because this will be on a cover, and all three will probably be a postcard, like this, like penciled postcards or something like that, right? And then we'll have a color poster, and then we'll have a cover and stuff. And this book, when we go up to Kickstarter, when it comes out, I think we're up to like page 6 of this story, so that means there's only 6 more pages to go. And I'm just so excited for this work to be seen by people. I mean, I am biased because it's a story I wrote, but a story is just a story when you're doing a comic book. It's just words on paper, right? It's in your head. But once it's like this, right? Once it's actually drawn, right? It becomes physical. It's like real. And you don't, you know, I understand being a novelist because I've done a couple like novellas and stuff. Like in my 20s, I did about 3 of them. You know, I can imagine everything that's there, but sometimes it's hard to actually get what's in here onto paper, right? But I haven't like when it comes to Francisco, when it comes to any of our artists, I don't stop them to whatever they give me. You know, like some people go, well, you know, you should direct your artist in a way like a director. I'm like, yeah, but they're the other half of what I'm doing, so they should know their job. If they, you know, if they have questions, they'll ask me, and then I'll send them notes. Right? I'm not like the guy. Like I remember when we were doing filmmaking, and you know, I studied filmmaking for 3 years, digital filmmaking, and so you know, creating short films, you know, the whole shebang. And so I have a degree in that silly thing, right? And with that knowledge of being director and stuff like that, I kind of go, well, that's a very hands-on thing. You can't kind of bring the directing of movies or shorts or TV to a comic book because you can't be like the you know the chef that stands there going, put my salt in, put this in, and I say that because I'm also trained as a chef, right? Probably, you know, not happy with doing this same thing over and over again. You change your job. Now I'm happy because I can do this forever. Or always, all I ever wanted was to tell a story, right? To be a storyteller. Now I'm doing it. But so you don't want to you don't want to be the writer. That's what I feel, right? When you're working with artists and comic book medium, you don't want to be the writer who's holding the artist's hand all the time. And that's how I feel when it comes to my artists, right? There's only sometimes I'll go, okay, like there was one where like in Critical, right? So in Critical, right, there's a little toy here. Oh, this one's a better one. I should show you. This one here. So she on her left ear has a little. She has like a like a earpiece, right, which she sticks in, which is basically nanites, right? It also works as a mic and headphone. So it goes in there, has a little aerial antenna on it, and that covers her whole body as her suit, right? So she could be wearing this, and the nanites will cover that. So it's kind of like how Superman wears his his costume underneath his clothes. Well, this one it actually covers over her, and so it's created by later on in the story you learn how it's become, who's created it, how it came to be, and so her that's her character. So one time like the drawing came in and it was on the right hand side, right? And I said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna have to change it. So I just said, hey, can you just please change this around, and I'll get that because I do the logos most of the time. And so I just go, okay, turn around, we'll do it. That was it of an entire page. Probably only very minor things because a lot of times I just go, the artist is supposed to know what he's doing. This is as much their book as it is mine. So, they catch my mistakes, I catch their mistakes. Most times I'm lettering away and putting the, copy pasting from my text file onto, onto the speech bubbles. And sometimes, I'm trying to, because you got to center it and everything. And sometimes you do a backspace and it takes away a letter and you forget that's taken it away. And so that's where, the two of us were basically, okay, have a look at this, see if it's wrong, make sure the lettering's right, whatever. And sometimes I miss it. And that's where it's pretty cool to have somebody have that thing there. No, so we don't have a third editor, right? So this is just me and him, me and Kevin working on this. And so I get to do, just like this book here, right? So I just get to work with Francisco on this. And there's some awesome stuff that's coming out from this book, right? This Robot Nation. And I'm quite excited to show you guys what's coming up. And, each time I come on here, you know, it's just some magical stuff I get to see each time. Let's see. There's this other one here. So this is one of the opening pages from this story. There you are. Right. So this is for the trouble with Bobo TM, right? So we've got the ship here, and this is as you can see, it's got NZX 3020, right? So it's basically New Zealand, and in space, I didn't, I just said, hey, this is what I want, a spaceship, and there's three of them in the front on the bridge. Just go for it. And then underneath, they're coming into land on a planet, right? And yeah. So when we did this, we basically went in and I think it was. Let me just check here. So this was my, like, me saying, right, this is how I drew it. So I said to I went and I said to, as per my writing, supposed to have two panels, right? So I got this is what he did, right? And I went, you know what? Why don't we take this line away? Instead of making it two panels, just make it one panel. Because I was looking at it going, you did a great work. Let's just take away that frame. Let's draw that through. So that's how we saw that other one there, because it's just coming straight in. There's no break in the story, no break between the panel 1 and panel 2. So it's like one splash page. Looks really cool. And because by putting that frame there, if I remember right, it kind of like kind of like broke the movement somehow. It felt like this was going to be the first page for this. It might as well just be a full page. So yeah, even here, like, you can look at the amount of detail that he goes into, and all the axes, of course, is all the black, right? That's why it's going to be black. And it's just so much detail. And the reason I say is, like, why I feel like this is my childhood is because I grew up on this thing, as I mentioned earlier, right? I grew up on this 2000 AD, and so one of if you're used to seeing 2000 AD, you get to see a certain style of art that came out from there. And even now, I haven't seen any recent ones, but I know that even now they do some really, really good artwork. It's one of the, longest running anthology that I know of, like out of England, right? So you have stuff like that. Let me just get you to side by side of Vegas. Doesn't wanna? No. Okay. There we go. So that one's better. So you can see here, right? Oops. See that robot down the bottom there of the first panel by the dude, right? So I really don't know if that's I think that might be a bleed. The color bleed is from this here, or if somebody's actually gone over the pen, right? So I can't really tell much about it, but see, Robo Hunter, right? Robo Hunter is something I grew up reading in the 80s. So when I see artwork like that, it really takes me back to my childhood. It really blows me away. And being able to see, just black and white. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been, asking you guys who've been following me on this. That is it, do you think it's okay if I put this? Will it sell if I put this out as a black and white comic? Because I don't want to lose. Sometimes, if it comes, artwork, if the coloring's like this, it'll be fine, and maybe that's what I will do. If we go to color, I think we'll go with this sort of palette, right? Really, really take it back to the 80s, I mean, just look at that work. This side by side, like that one there, right? That one there. and then you've got this one. So side by side, where are you? Am I on the right one? Not that way. Oh, I think I almost deleted myself just then. Yeah, so that's why I say, like, it's just such a, you know, it's just, it'd be so great to just bring it out, you know, as a black and white comic, because maybe we'll do, you know, maybe we can, I don't know, maybe do a, I'm thinking about doing it, I was thinking of putting her, like the safe one, right? Not the safe one, but like one of them anyway, of, not sure what this character is. Where'd you go? I was thinking of putting this in like a spread right in the middle of the comic, so you could have it like right in the middle. Because I used to do in the old days, we used to get like a centerfold, right? Yeah, like this. Look at that. So if the rest of it's black and white, we could do a centerfold, because it's done as like a poster, so it's like a spread like that. She's just on the side, right? So we could do a centerfold with this character here, because the way as you can see, she's lying. It's like it's a 2-page cover, so you could, like, there's a front and there's a back of it. So this area here would be the front, and then that would be the back of the book. And so I was trying to figure out how, if we were going to market in like Kickstarter, right? We could either put a risque in the middle as like the centerfold, and on the outside we could put this as a cover. But there's 2 stories, right? So it's kind of like you get to choose, like, you know, the backers get to choose cover A or cover B. This would be cover B, and the other one would be cover A for Robot Nation. I'm not sure which one. I haven't picked which one to do yet for that. So yeah, so that's it. And then you get the risque, or like risque, or the nude robot cover. I mean, sorry, pin-up poster, right? One of the other things I've been doing this week, maybe in the weekend, I think it might have been last Saturday, yeah, a week ago, was watching Hajime Sorayama. So let me just show you guys something which I thought was really cool, because I'm a, you know, as much as I'm a follower of comic writers, I'm just as much a, you know, comic art fan as well. So let me see, where did I put him? Playlist. Was it to watch? Where are we? Comic Book Masters. Hashimi. Where are you, buddy? This is like a fantasy artist master, right? Where did I put you? It's got to be here somewhere. Library. Must be in the library. Okay. Here we go. Right. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to show you guys this video of this friggin' master, right? If you've ever seen a if you've ever seen a Sorayama artwork, you would know. Oops. It's doing it every time I do that. That one? Yes, there we go. So this is the second one I haven't got around to watching. But this is a grand master of fantasy art, right? Like just fine art, whatever you want to call it, pop art, you know, whatever you want to call it. The way this guy, I never realized the amount of work he puts into one artwork, right? His technique, his style, like he cuts up stuff, right? He cuts up his drawing and then you know, like lengthens the legs or something, and then he goes and puts it in a light box, shines it down, the pencil down again, which enlarges it. Then he goes back and does so much. Then he friggin' paints over it. Then he does a clear seal. Then he scrapes it away. And it's like, you know, like I saw like way back in, I think it was 79, no, 85. There was a book called Pin Up, right? Let me just, well, I'll just put volume up on that just for a bit so you can think. For me, I'll have it down. So I'll just cross that. So you got to check and stuff. I'm just going to grab my keyboard so I can bring it over.
After removing the frisket, Suriyama applies the pink color with his airbrush.
Still feeling the pain from the slip disc. Johnny wants to fly. Right.
He then removes the frisket from the figure and
Pencils.
uses the airbrush to apply some of the pink color to the figure.
Paint, right? Etching, light box. Right. Hopefully I've put both those parts in here in my playlist, right? On the library, sorry. And you guys can watch it from there. So, because I find this interesting, like just a technique. Because, like I said, I've got a friend who's an airbrush artist who's basically just airbrushed Incredigle here, the larger figure of it. I think she's about that big, 6 inch. I think it was might have been a 4 inch. No, yeah, it would have been a 6 inch because that's a 3.5 or something, 3.25. So, you know, oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So in 85, right, in 1985, right, he was already known as a grandmaster, right, almost like fine art, fantasy fine art artist. So there's two other things I wanted to mention here today. Let me just grab this. So leave that there. Let's go find this one. Let me see. Pin it. That's Suriyama. Suriyama. How do you spell that? Make sure I got it right. Hajime. Hajime's. Oops, sorry. Hopefully. Let me grab that. So he was born on February 22nd, 1947, right? Let me just grab this off here. We'll go back to watch it. So Hajime Suriyama, born February 22nd, 1947, is a Japanese painter best known for his precisely detailed erotic, hand-painted airbrush portrayals of women and of feminine biomechanoid robots. And his design work on the original Sony AIBO robot head. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Might have to look that up. He describes his highly detailed style as super realism, which he says deals with technical issue of how close one can get to one's object. Yeah. So, you know, for me, like, you know, when you see this sort of work and you just see what you know, let me see if I can show you one of the images that I sent Francisco put the pin up, right? Right. So present. Okay, let's jump on from there. Let's get. So this is one of the photos I sent Francisco. I said, there's about 3 or 4 like this. And I said, look, this is probably the risque one, right? Because it's in a bikini, right? And I said, this sort of like she's on the floor, right? And there's a reason why I went for the floor. And when you read the story, you'll figure it out. I'm like, I'm trying to be the musician who doesn't give away his tricks, right? How did he do it? So it's like me trying not to spoil the story. So, and then you look at, I didn't tell him to go and see the Hajime. I just said, take your one, this image you've done, right? And take that image and present it, in that sort of position. As you can see here, it's not very detailed, right? That way, which way am I going here? There we are. No? Oh, there we are. Yeah, so as you can see, he didn't spend too much time detailing it, but, it's got the main crux of what it's supposed to be, the character and stuff, right? And then taking that and just positioning it, in the position that I asked him to do it in, which was on the floor. Excuse me. And, in that way. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the comments or anything. So if you've got any questions, ask away. I'll be happy to answer them. Or if you've got any, to add anything to this. So as you can see, right, I just take a character and do that, and and then he gives me the 3 that I asked for, in the same position, because I didn't say to change the position. I just said change the clothing and stuff. So that didn't mean that he had to redo 3 complete images, which saved him time. Which a lot of artists do right now, because when you're doing variant covers, you just you don't do everything over again. You just change the clothing or something, or change slightly differently, and that's pretty cool. I think that's cool, because you just you're giving people something different, and we get to see it in a different way, and so I'm quite excited, like, to be able to see these, this artwork come to me from my artists, right? That are working with me, to see how much work they put into this stuff. So this is the second story, The Trouble with Bobo, TM, which is 16 pages complete story, right? It's like you can read it and you don't have to read anything else. So it's a standalone. So then you got the other 12 pages, which is Robot Nation TM, which is another story. So 28 pages, a complete book, right? And I want to put this in the middle, like those risque one in the middle. This is the normal one. There's a risque one, and then I think there is a nude one, right? So the nude one's going to be a poster, right? There's a special one. And then I'm going to have these 3 sketch cards, because I think these as like postcards would be beautiful, right? Just a collector's piece. And I'll make sure that if we're sending out, hopefully we'll get some sort of numbering system going on the back of it. It's only going to be limited to how many goes out and how many we keep for ourselves, because for us, anything we print, of course, you got to keep some for yourselves, right? So I don't think, like, when people say 1 of 1, well, it's not really 1 of 1, because there's probably 3 others that they've kept for themselves. But that's only natural, because you got to print something to keep for yourself, so you have that, as part of your collection and stuff. So the other thing I want to talk about today before I move off onto toys. Like I've had, this is full of figurines, Marvel Legends, and this is full of some old stuff and some new stuff, and Marvel Legends. And of course, from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but Usagi Yojimbo, right? Check that out. Whoops, let me get off there. Where am I? Oh, how do I get rid of you, buddy? Remove item. Oops. Yep. Okay, so yeah, I got this. Cost me a bit. Because, I mean, like, the arms move, the head moves, right? It doesn't go up and down, it just goes side to side. And this is from Batman, by the way, from Batman Begins. I just had it lying around because I put the Batman Begins Ra's al Ghul versus Batman character from Batman Begins figurine battle scene into the Batmobile, the tumbler from that thing. So I couldn't put that in. So the cool thing about this thing is you can use it as blades, right? So you could have it in your hand, right? And then still have a long blade, right? Like that. Or you can have just two blades. I didn't know that. I didn't know that for ages. Since I bought it, that's like 20 years ago. I didn't know they came apart until recently, which is like a couple of weeks ago when I was moving around. I didn't know this thing came off, right? 20 years later. This cracked me up. It was like, oh, because it fell off because I was trying to moving it out. I was like, oh, okay, here's a dumb guy, right? 20 years later, man. So they got this really interesting thing. So you make sure it goes in the right little, like it's got a half moon there. So you got to make sure it goes in the right way so it doesn't actually go around. Yeah. So anyway, that was like joke on me, right? But yeah, I'm gonna have that as part of him because that I get to share Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Usagi Yojimbo, and Batman with the one figure. Oh, and plus, one of my friends sent me this for a whole bunch of these. I get it off him every now and then because he likes his figures to stand on their own, so he doesn't like to stand. So I actually end up sometimes buying it off him, or he just gives it to me if I buy other stuff. He's a good guy. I think myself and him are the couple of the first ones who set up the New Zealand action figures and toy collectors group on Facebook, which is like about 5 years ago. And we left this other group and basically formed our own group. And now we've got like over 500 people, which is pretty cool. And it's all New Zealand guys. Hold on. This is bugging me. There we go. That's better. All right. So guess what came out this week? And I would have shown you the discs I have, but I can't bend forward too much, like bend down too much because of my hip. And if you're just joining me, I slipped the disc on Sunday in my spine in the back and back. And so for a whole week, that's why I didn't podcast because I was in too much pain. But let's watch something cool, right? Because if you're into art, right? If you're into art, you let me see, where are you? Where did I put you? Yep. Trailers We Love. So if you go on our library, you can look up Trailers We Love, and I've put up a couple of trailers. I try to do the ones I think of off the top of my own head when it comes out. And so I'm not always on time with it, but whenever I remember, I'm going, yeah, this is really cool. We should put this out, add this up, because then I remember to talk about it. So this is, of course,
the end of days are nigh. Metalocalypse is upon us. Unless you are vigilant, you will drown in fear.
Hi. What?
Good timing.
The Doomstar. It creeps closer to our atmosphere every day, threatening cataclysmic destruction. Salacia. Only he knows what vile evils are in store.
That's so cool.
Out to find the Song of Salvation.
What is the Song of Salvation?
Nobody knows. Well, do we at least know the running time? Roughly? Nobody knows.
Does we at least knows what keys it ends in? What happens if we do it wrong?
The world will be bathed in blood.
Wait, how much time have I got on this?
Be a hellscape.
Okay, give me 1 sec.
Will be dead.
Oh, man, every time I get out.
Will you be the fist or the hand?
So, right, so so just about every day, right, on the side of my bed, like I have a queen size bed, so I'm divorced, so I'm by myself. So on that side of the bed, right on my left side, is almost my base. My base is always there, on top of the bag that comes with, like the flat sock case. So whenever I'm lying in bed and I kind of like, think of, a music thing or thing, I never have it plugged in. I've got a little speaker, but I don't have it plugged in. I just like for an hour or half an hour a day at night, I'll just play. For a whole week, I haven't been able to do that because my back, right? I can't lie in bed with a weight on my spine. And I think that might have been part of why I got hurt. Oh, this is a Jackson, by the way. It's a good bass that I've always wanted, and I was able to, when I was in my teens. Oh, this is gonna be pain. I'm gonna have to get a stand. Please don't get damaged while you're there. Oh. So I did a job last year, and as a contract work, and that helped pay for that. When I was in my teens, like 2021, yeah, no, so it would have been out of my teens. Yeah, I was a bass player. Like I used to play bass, and one of New Zealand, well-known New Zealand bands at the time was one of my bass tutors, and excuse me, I'm supposed to remove that off there. Was my bass tutor, and so paid him about $20 each week to come up and teach me. And so, yeah, but I never had like anything like that. And it was my dream to always have that, right? Have a bass guitar, a Jackson bass. And so when I first had my bass, it was just like, just your basic starter kit bass, like $300 or something at the time. It was a lot of money because I was only working $6.50 an hour, or maybe at that time I was $6.90 an hour, $6.70, $6.90 an hour. Like, really think about that, right? It's like you get paid about 2, 3, maybe 4 times that now. And I was 17, 18, 19, yeah, about 19, 20, yeah. And then also I had two guitars, electric guitars as well. And then later on, over time, they went, I think I sold one or swapped one or something. And the other one I sold. And then the bass just became pieces because I wasn't really together in my 20s and in my teens. I didn't really get together in my head for decades, I think. I had shit go down when I was a kid and just didn't really work it out for years, for decades. And so last year when I did the job, I was going to the job, so I kept saving. Like I go put down $20, I put down $30, put down $50, $100, right? Whenever I had money, I get spare money down. And because normally they don't do that, you have to sign up something. But because I know the guy and because I'm a trusted person, by the community, right? Because they know who I am. I just go, here's $50, put it against my thing this way. No, nothing written up, right? It's just under my name, boom, there. And so, you know, I was finally able to pick it up for Christmas. It was like my 50th birthday present. Of course, it was 5 months before my birthday, but it was my 50th birthday present as well as my Christmas present. And it was like, yeah, it was just, you know, finally being able to win. So like, this is what I mean. It's like, I've been teaching myself how to play bass by watching, right, YouTube. And I've been telling my niece and like nephews how amazing this generation they live in is. Nobody, I think a lot of people think, oh, boomer, you know, you Gen Xers, you know, you boomers, you don't really, you know, you don't know what technology and stuff. Well, you guys don't know what we went through to learn what what we had to learn, right? You know, I learned how to fix my back by watching a YouTube video this week, how to slip my disc back in, right? It just went and just electric shock, pain. You know, I crawled, you know, limped to my bed and fell down in pain. And I didn't have to go to see a chiropractor. I didn't have to go see a physio, right? I just looked on YouTube and I was able to go, oh, if I do those exercises, I could slip it in. You know, I could fix it myself. And I did. And it worked. And so the same thing with like playing music, right? I could watch like what I'm doing at the moment. I'm watching like Foo Fighters, like let me bring it up. I've got a bookmark full of folder full of on my bookmark full of you know, all the music that I love and the bands that I love and like the songs that I want to learn how to play. Not because I want to play those songs, but I can get my timing right. I can learn how to you know, do the riffs I want to do and why they work the way they work. Like I'm always going, well, the riff starts with right, and then why do they go? You know, if you're taught music, right? If you go to school and you learn you're taught how to do music, that comes to you easy. When you've never learned how to do music that way, how to read music, why people play that way, you know, all you got is you picking up books, right? So there was this really cool this guy named Paul Del Bello, right? So this is one of those weird streams. This is like, you know, my morning streams were just like always going to be weird. So I want to show you, right. I think this is the easiest song to learn how to play, right? To learn to play bass, like the first song that you should try to learn to play bass with, right? So this is Paul Del Bello. Right. Just the timing, the structure, the riff, right? Just getting the timing right. So this bass line, right? He just slamming it, right? It's one of my favorite songs, by the way. When it came out, it was like my favorite song off that album. I was like, yes, and Monkey Wrench. But this one is like a driving thing. It's like, there goes my hero, right? It's just freaking like, it just, you know, just grabbed me at that time because I just had a hero that fell. Someone I looked up to at the time basically fell, right? Like hypocrite kind of thing. I was like, you know, yeah. That's why I don't have authority figures I look up to. I don't have like leaders I look up to anymore. I've become very like anti-authority, but that's also part of my punk, you know, upbringing, I guess, because being into punk music. So it's such a cool little song to learn. I've been looking at lots of songs, right, to get the timing right, because a lot of times when they go really fast, but this just, the bass is driving this. You know, you can hear the guitar in the background, you know, doing its little, you know, lead thing. but the bass and the drums are, slamming it. That change, right, to the A note, down to the E, right? I think that's the B here. Back to the A. And plus, this is how I learn. I don't know music, right? I don't know how to read that top part there, the bars and stuff. I just know tablature. Such a cool little song, but so easy to learn on bass, right? And if I reckon if you're just learning bass, this is the first song you want to pick up and try to learn, because I think the timing, just the structure of it, and plus you feel good learning it. I felt really good getting it right the first time. I was like, I can do this, but I mean, everybody's the other way. So I'll tell you what really inspired me to get in, why I wanted right. So I am a metalhead, which is why I put that, I put, what is it called there? Metalocalypse, death clock, right? I can't even say that word right. But what really got me wanting to play bass was, I think, was it this one? No, it was this one. So this is another thing. Like, so,
hey, bass players, Primus fan bass players, whatever.
So I like
you
this sort of stuff, right? Like,
wave
we never had this, man.
Um,
When I was, when I was 18 and all that, I never had this. I never had a guy up there go, do this. There's a simple way of doing it. Here, look, I can show you right here. So you can be taught by thousands of people around the world. I'm watching a Latin Latina. Okay, you guess Spanish. Do you call Spanish Latinos? I thought it was only Latin America was called Latino. Anyway, I should have asked Paulie last week.
If you don't know, the song starts out at the
So you got like, right?
slides and fade into nothing.
This sort of stuff is gold.
Hammers on to the D.
Having a favorite song, someone showing you how to play the favorite song, right? So I'll show you what he's playing, and it's it's one of my favorite songs. Now, why am I not? Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Head on large. Okay, so this is My Name is Mud. My name is Mud. By Primus. Now, actually, we have the live. I think live would be better. Is that Les? No, it doesn't look like Les. Here we go with some. All right, Les with. Come on, before it goes. Here we go. If we wanted to watch this, and if it wasn't on TV, we had to buy it on VHS, right? Or on disc. I think this is 94. So discs were very expensive. No, 94, we still had VHS. Yeah. So you'd have to friggin', buy it on VHS, hire it out on VHS if it wasn't on there. Now we can watch the entire freaking history of Primus. Almost every concert ever recorded, right? And I think this is something that I appreciate, and I think this generation doesn't, which is sad. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I just feel like they don't, because when you actually appreciate something, you become grateful inside, and you become more whole, and you become more happy and content, right? You're like, I actually can see my favorite band play the favorite song live at a place I never got to see them play live, like like Iron Maiden playing in Buenos Aires to thousands of people, right? I've never seen Iron Maiden play live because when I wanted to go see Iron Maiden play live, I was stuck in a bed because 6 months earlier I had been in a car accident. So my mate who was coming up to see me, best mate who was coming up to see it with me, came up and went and saw it himself without me because, hey, couldn't do it. But I get to see all the concerts. I'm privy to the entire stock of all Iron Maiden albums. Listen to them, every single one ever released, right? Live ones, like EPs and stuff, because of YouTube, right? Because of the internet. When you realize how amazing that is, you become very grateful for that. You appreciate things more because we never had that shit. You know, I always think like how discontent this generation feels, which I maybe sound like a boomer, but I think my generation's brought so much great things into this for this generation that's unappreciated, right? And I think that unappreciation has somehow made people become depressed, and that contentness with life is gone. And so there's a bit more bitterness and anxiety and loss of self and position. And I know what that's like because I remember being like that, due to trauma. But once I realized the amazingness and the greatness and the exciting things that we have available to it, that are, at our fingertips, I've become very content, right? Like, you get to see this. This is Woodstock '94, right? I was like 21. That's when I turned 21, right? Yeah, there's a couple of months after I turned 21. 3 months, actually. Wait. Is that 29 years ago? Where's my... Hold on. When was that? My fingers are going to... fingers are freaking moving like the bass line. So 1994 minus 2023 equals... It's 29 years ago, this month. Right? Next year, this month, it'll be 30 years. So we could do like a 30-year celebration. My head hurts. It's like my left side's hurting because of the slip disc. So, this is the song that really got always reminds me of this movie, right? Let me just say. So, it's called. I saw this movie in Fiji in the theaters twice because I liked the first time I went to saw it with my cousin, so I went and saw it again. Oh no, I went by myself, I think, the first time, and then I went and saw it again with my cousin.
Foster is an ordinary man.
Where you going? Going home. Not this way or not? Why not? Metro rail construction, that's why not.
Living in the everyday world.
I don't suppose you have a couple of bucks you can give me. It would really help me out. If you give me your address, I'll mail it back, honest.
A patient man.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like a ham and cheese omelet with lamb fries.
I'm sorry.
We stop serving breakfast at 11:30.
Who's running out of patience.
I guess some change for the phone.
A peaceful man.
No change. I have to buy something.
Who's about to be pushed.
85 cents. 85 cents.
Doesn't give me enough money for the phone call.
Drink. 85 cents. You pay or go.
A little too far.
I stay.
You mean you stole your baseball bat, but he paid for the soda?
Just standing up for my rights. As a consumer.
Oh, this guy's discriminating.
What kind of vigilante are you? I'm just trying to get home to my little girl's birthday.
Give us your briefcase.
If everybody will stay out of my way.
Here, you want a briefcase? Here's my briefcase. Where's the briefcase? Wait a minute.
Then nobody will get hurt.
Warner Brothers presents.
Hey, would you get off my golf course? I am.
The story of an everyday guy who refused to take it one more day.
So we got a nutcase with a bag full of guns. He's in Hollywood right now, and he's heading west.
I don't know if you've noticed or not, but there's other people waiting to use the phone here.
Now, if you go up against this guy, be careful.
I think it's out of order. Somebody in a white shirt and tie gunned down a phone booth 3 blocks from the Whammy Burger.
Michael Douglas.
In America, we have the freedom of speech. Come on, I want to be a parking lot. I'll buy a ticket. The right to disagree.
Robert Duvall.
I know who this guy is.
In a Joel Schumacher film.
What are you doing to
It's
the
a
street?
must-watch film.
We're fixing it. What the hell does it look like?
See, I don't think anything's wrong with the street. I think you're just trying to justify your inflated budgets.
Well, I guess so.
I'll give you something to fix.
What are you? Hey, Charlie!
Falling down.
Let's call it a day.
Come on. I'm the bad guy?
A tale of urban reality.
So, when did that come out? Let me just check this because, like I said, I saw this at the theater in Fiji, and I took my cousin with me, and I can't remember if it was my middle cousin, because I've got my second youngest uncle has 3 sons and a daughter. So one of those sons I took to see this with, like, a child. So in Fiji there is no like age limit at that time, if I remember right. So let me just check that right. So Falling Down 93, yeah, so 30 years ago. Man, talk about getting old. So that was 30 years ago. Falling Down came out 30 years ago. Michael Douglas was like this, like Henry Cavill is right now, right? He was a dude. Like he was in like a lot of stuff. He was like the in demand. I wonder, he was like in this other movie called, I think it was Disclosure. I think that was that one, which was like, let's go see Michael. Right. So if I remember right, Michael was in Fatal Attraction, which was big, man. Like Fatal Attraction was big. He was also in Wall Street, which was another big movie. Where are we? Haywire came out a bit later, but like 90s. He was the man in the 90s. Sentinel, The Game. If you haven't seen The Game, gotta watch The Game. A Perfect Man. Yeah, Disclosure. There he is. So after he did, of course, he did Basic Instinct, right? With who was it? Basic? That wasn't Kim Basinger, was it? Sharon Stone. That's where Sharon Stone made her name, right? In that one, right? So went too far. Went back too far. Let's go back forward. Right. So yeah. So he did Wall Street. Hold on. Oh, Jewel of the Nile. Like I said, he was in demand like for like from 84, right? From 84 all the way to sheesh. Let me see, 2000. Yeah, 2000. So it's 16 year on top of the world, man. 16 years of being on top of the world, right? For the Douglas family, right? Kirk Douglas, Emilio Estevez, I think is part of that same family. And who's the other guy that was part of the Christian? Is Charlie Sheen part of that family as well? Let me figure that out. Son, brother, right? So it's Michael Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas being his dad, but didn't know his middle name was Kirk. So where's the family? Relatives? No. Wait, am I wrong? Sheen. Oh, that's Michael Sheen. Sheen. Yeah, wrong family. Martin Sheen, right? Get them confused. So like they look kind of similar, but they're not the same. So it's Martin Sheen, right? So Martin Sheen adopted son, if I remember, is Emilio Estevez. Or what's his name? Estevez. Right. His son kept the Estevez name, right? And then his other son kept the Sheen name because he changed his name from Ramon Antonio Gerard Estevez to Martin Sheen. I should have talked to Paulie about that, but you know, this is the old news. Yeah, there you go. Children: Ramon Estevez, Charlie Sheen, right? Emilio Estevez, and Renee Estevez. So if I remember right, Emilio, right? Big fan. I'm a big fan of Emilio Estevez, right? Just brilliant. Like this is like the 90s kids, like the actors of the 90s, you know, I guess what you call it. Who's hip right now? I don't even know what's pop culture. So anyway, or pop TV, whatever you want to call it. Now, before that, so one thing I want to mention is check out these prizes, man. I was looking at getting Army of Doom stuff, right? So I had a look on eBay. Look at these prices for New Zealand, right? As you know, New Zealand is like $1.60 US. New Zealand, sorry, $1.60 New Zealand is $1 US, right? So look at the prices we got to pay. You know, that's available. So like, it jumps from like an opened one from 36, right? And I've got deliveries $30, right? Deliveries $40, deliveries $50. How does it change? Like differences in like by $10 in delivery, right? $28 delivery, $51 deliveries. That's like $13 difference. No, yes, something like that. Anyway, but look, $120, right? US import. So, you know, because here the Blu-ray came out last year. So, you know, Army of Doom stuff, I thought it just came out this week, right? Or you get a poster with it. And now you can buy the poster for $16, right? The soundtrack is $300 if you want that. Physical media, like this latest, you know, everybody's going, oh, you got to buy physical media, you got to buy physical media. That's cool. But look at how these guys are scalping us out here. You know, it's crazy. All right, so I want to show you guys some stuff that I put together this week. This is Playmobil. Is it Playmobil? I think this is Playmobil. So, oh no. Yep, this is Playmobil. So this came out in '97. So it's missing pieces. So I didn't even realize it was missing pieces. I paid $15 from this. And I got to go back and see if they've got the other pieces because I bought this at a Sally Army store, thrift store. And it wasn't put together. So it was just pieces in a bag. So I got to go, well, it's got missing pieces. Can I have a discount now? Because seriously, it's like a third of it's gone. So this is a Playmobil police station. So I'm going to call it Gotham Police Station, right? So you can go with all the Batman toys all up there and all up that side. Yep, there. And so I've been having to clean up stuff and organize. So I still haven't put up any all the Bat stuff yet. So these are the recent two. I think I'm not sure if I've showed it, but these are the recent two that came in this week. This one here, Two-Face and Batman. And I think there was might have been this one here as well. This is a Kenner, if I remember right. So you can see the Kenner ones they're around about the same size. They're from the 90s, if I remember right. Now, according to my my freelance toy designer friend in America, Hawk Sanders, who's also the CEO of Rising Sun Comics, there's 3 places you can check where the brand and who made it and stuff. It's in here in the thigh, over here in the back, or around here, up there or on the feet. So this one has got it right over here on the thigh. There we go. Perfect. So as you can see, it's DC Comics Incorporated 1996. So, but on the other leg, can we focus, buddy? Focus. It does say Kenner right over here. Right. So there's that. So that's a Kenner one. This one, of course, has it on the back over here, above the belt, and also on the butt. So this one is new, quite recent one. This is Mattel. So you got Kenner and Mattel. So what year is that? Hold up. I use my trusty mobile phone, which is coming very handy this week because of doing Lego. I've been able to take a photo of like the designs, instructions, and then enlarge it. So it's coming very handy. Same thing with this. I can like take a photo as long as it's in focus. And DC Comics, Mattel, doesn't say what year. Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't say what year. Weird. Yeah, doesn't say what year. Okay, so that's that. Of course, you've got the Kenner one again. This is quite strange because it's got like Maiden and Alan Ken on that side. Then it's got like DC and trademark on that side. All right, so let's get to some. Of course, I mentioned that we've got this one. This was bought on auction, and it cost me a bit more than I think these two, maybe the same price as these two, because you got to have one of those. Now, let me get that out of the way. Let me get some room here because the study desk is really bad. I figured out that I was gonna have like my oh yeah, these things clip on like with like this at the bottom here, right? So I figured out with these ones that I was thinking that maybe I can run my cell phone as a second unit camera, right? As a second camera. Oh, that's not gonna work, so I'm just gonna leave that there. So, which means that I could like have a camera aimed down at the desk. So when I'm trying to put it, when I'm trying to show you guys that, when I'm trying to show you stuff over here, you can actually see it on a second screen. But I found out like I don't know what was happening, but I couldn't get it to work. It just came up blank. Okay, so this lot, right? This box is an A4 size box, A4 paper size box, and it's about 4-inch, almost 4-inch by 12-inch. 4-inch by 12-inch, right? Box of figurines that I bought through a friend, and no extra charge, right? But that came from Singapore. So these figurines, like, have been bought from another through a friend who was getting a bulk lot sent. So it would like, we end up like going cheap on the import, whatever, So it came from Singapore. So these are so I got to get some really cool figures for well under retail price, right? Well under 50%. So you got, is this Apocalypse? Remember, right? So this is a Apocalypse figure. Now, for size wise, right? I have a, where's the normal one? Oh, gosh. I guess you could, This is a Nuclear Man. I can't remember who this guy is. Anyway, so you can see. Wait, hold on. It's quite a soft little jelly feeling thing, but it's not really. It feels like it. It's not. Who is this? Is this a DC? Tell me, are you DC or not DC? There it is on the legs. Marvel. Okay, so there's a Marvel figure. I don't know who that is, right? But I liked it. I liked it because I thought I could repaint this figure as one of my characters as Red Dot, because Red Dot has that sort of haircut, right? So I could actually do this whole thing as a Red Dot figure. I could probably change the head with something else, like this guy, right? So, because I was thinking, like, what if I took this guy's head, put on this body, now I could repaint this into Red Dot. That's the idea. So I didn't buy these for my too late put on the shelf and hey, look, I got this. You know, was that Moon Knight? I don't even know who that is. But you know, so I could now have like I take off this cape. You better come off. Coop. Right. Right. Now I have two versions of my one character. Right. Why does he have like bare feet? Look, he's got bare feet. So I could have two versions like of him, like one version with the hair and one version with the mask on. So all I need to do is figure out what paint to use and to paint him up. Or I could basically send these back to my friend and say, hey, who's actually a customizer, right? Can you please paint this into two versions of my one character, right? So that's why I bought these two, not because I like these characters, not that I care about them, but because I could do something with them. I could have them customized. So what I really like about this whole deal is that I have 3 of X-23 Laura. I have a Funko Laura, Funko Pop Laura, bobblehead up there. I have the first appearance 6th issue NYX. Then I also had X-23, which I can't remember the name of. Let me find out. Hold on. Where are you? Gosh. Do I have it here somewhere? There we go, Key Collector. So let's have a look. So there's a website called keycollectorcomics.com and X-23, right? So there we go. So I have, let's have a look. I can put that on there so I can show you guys this. Present X-23. Okay, so as you can see here, right? So I have, where are we? There we are. So I have this series, and I also have, I did have this, and I did have that. I think I sold those too. And I also have this series, right? Oh, even the must-haves have gone up in price. That's interesting. Right, so this is so 20. I didn't realize they'd come out in 2010 at the same time. When did I buy my one? 2004. Yeah, 2004 is when I bought it. So the story, how I ended up with this, is that when it came out, I said, I'll get this. And the guy at the comic shop said, why do you want to have a little girl in it? Like, just grab it, man. So I put it on pull list, got it. Didn't know anything about it. And then later on, we realized it was like so-called Wolverine's daughter, right? Clone daughter. And I ended up with 2 issues of this, of 23, right? I mean, number of 3, where it just, that's when they go, Wolverine's daughter kind of reveal kind of thing, who she is now, right? I kind of like, if you watch, is it Paprika? There is a anime, it's kind of, does it start with K? I can't remember if it starts with K. Actually, they had Samuel L. Jackson do a, maybe I'll get it that way. Which kind of feels like it's a ripoff of the story, right? Not this one here. This is like a ripoff, like this is based off that. So let me see, when did this one come out? What was the name of it? So the anime, the whole story of friggin' Kite, right? It's Kite. So Kite is actually basically the X-23 story, right? A child assassin, right? And who does she kill? Yeah. So, you know, she's basically out there to take out such and such, right? After like, so the story is after her cop father's killed a young woman, tracks down the murderer down with the help of his ex thing. So it's not too much that, but if you really think about it, like, I mean, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So there is a Kite is an anime, and then they did a the guy who did Kite worked on anime department for Akira, Grave of the Fireflies, right? Misa Forte. Why is it spelled Forute? Am I wrong? Is it spelled wrong? Yeah, it's spelled wrong. Forute. Who spelled that? I knew that was spelled wrong. It's Misa Forte. Anyway, so yeah, so it felt like, for me, it felt like it was like that story. So it didn't feel anything like anything new. Of course, then it started like, you know, the concept is there, right? So I ended up with 2 issues, and I sold two copies of NYX number 3. Sold one for $60 at the time because I needed it. Right, it was like about 2014. Yeah, 14. Yeah, I think it was 14 when I sold for $60. I mean, it only cost me $10, right? So I made 50, you know, 500% on it, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so that was pretty cool. So, but I still have it. Like, and then there was another time when I was selling it, and somebody was offering me so much, you know, a couple of, you know, such and such money, and now I'm so glad I held on to it. So now I don't sell comics at all, right? I don't sell anything I own at all. So that's the story behind getting, you know, getting these. And let's go with that. Yeah, so that's the story about getting Laura. So now I have 3 different versions of Laura. You know, these are like used, right? Secondhand, whatever. Don't really care. But I get to have, you know, 2 of the same of this, right? With that costume. And then I got one with that one. So let's have a look. What's her, which one is the new one? Right. None of the covers, like these are like none of the covers of these costumes. So this is I guess this is her X-Men costume, right? And this is her not X-Men costume. But yeah, so I think, I don't know how much I paid for this one, but yeah, pretty cool. Oh, and I also ended up, I think this actually takes a battery. So I ended up with this as well as part of the purchase, right? So I don't know what I paid for this. And I think if you press this, I think it's a light, right? So that's what I think it does. So freewheeling, this is like, This is Batman the animation. Let me see, what year is this? Once again, I can't see. Come on, my trusty phone camera, all right? Phone camera, what was camera phone? Focus. There we go. Oh, such tiny right. So Toys International, China, 97? No, doesn't say. Toy State International Limited, made in Shenzhen, China. DC Comics, trademark and copyright WBE. Yeah, so it's a Warner Brothers one. So I mean, so it's definitely off the actual. I guess it's when Warner Brothers maybe bought DC. But yeah, so now I got to find a figure that goes on there. Maybe it's a Kenner figures that goes on it, right? Maybe it's some other one. Well, it's definitely not the Kenner ones, man. Whatever figure that goes on it has to be able to move the bend the knee, right? So it's got to be something like ones that bend the knee, and they're saying that none of these Kenner ones are it. So maybe this is a Mattel one. But I got to find a figure for that. So you got the size variance on that, right? Let's get rid of that. We don't need Laura there yet. So yeah, she gets, she's bending forward a bit. But you got the size difference between her body and Apocalypse. It is Apocalypse, right? I'm probably going to get that wrong. Sure, it's Apocalypse. Yeah. But this is such a, one thing that really freaked me out, well, maybe amazed, was this. It's like latex, right? Or rubber, whatever it is. It's like really flimsy. And I kind of thought, imagine, I mean, it's all machine cut, right? Of course, but just the details in this, it's very impressive to me. I thought that was really cool, the fact I did that. And there's 2 layers as well. So you can see, if you can see here, right? So there's a top layer, right? And then underneath that, so you can see here. So there's that one, and then there's right underneath that, there's another layer. So there's 2 layers of this, and there's 4 lots. So there's a lot here, and there's a lot there. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. I guess that's what that's there for. So you can actually take this off because don't break. Oh God, that's in so deep. But I think you're supposed to be able to take it off somehow, right? Because you can see the peg. But of course, I don't like to force these things. Yeah, so you can actually take it off, but there's so you know how you got a nail, you got the head on the nail. So that's basically what this is like. It's like a head on the nail. So you can see that it's like a little cap. There's a ridge there. So it's pushed over that ridge to keep it in there. So I'm going to try to do anything like that. Right, so the next one, this one I'm going to show. So I finally got a Cyberman to go with my little and my big, right? There's a big Dalek there. There's a black one, then there's a little tiny gold one over there somewhere. But I always kind of wanted one of these, so I finally got one. So this is 1963. That's when it came out, right? And this is from 2006. BBC Worldwide. Is that cool? What? I'm so excited I got one of these. Right? Talking about robots today. So, robot comic book series. So you got this is a really good figure. So you have the fists that move around. You got an elbow that joints that move. you got the shoulder joints that side to side as well as round, right? Up and side to side and around. And you got a head that goes right around. Is that cool or what? I'm just looking at it for the first time myself. So yeah. So you got the feet that go right up and down. Up and down. Yep, up and down. Side around and around. And of course the knee band. So this is a really cool figure. And of course the hip as well, right? Pretty loose, side to side, and front and back, not too much. You don't really need it to do too much because your feet are actually going around, doing side to side, right? You don't have the toes, that you have on like this one here, right? You don't have the toes pointing up and down, but you do have the, that's another thing I didn't notice was that like with this one, the boots, like the boot part of it goes right around like from here. So that's, and the smell is pretty cool. So it's like, it kind of feels like it's been washed, but I think it's probably just been really well looked after and they're fresh and home. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, man, I'm just so excited to have one of these. I would love an angel now, right? To go with it. And also one of the doctors. The classic first doctor would be really cool. Oh, and the other thing I want to mention, these all came individually bubble wrapped, right? So that's pretty cool. I really appreciate that. Because, if you're a collector, you don't want stuff like I said about comics. I really hate comics arriving. The head went for runner, which is good because it just means that like I don't have to put too much pressure to get these heads off. Like I was saying, I'm going to change them anyway, one to the other, right? From this one to that one. So yeah, yay! It's cool actually. Oh, look at the way this one goes. Like it goes all the way down there. All right, so there's my 3 Lauras. Let's get her up. Let's get her wrapped up in a way. All right. Uno, dos, tres. Which way did it go? Not over that way, but yeah, that way. That way. That way. Yeah. All right, you stay there. Okay, those 2 are fine. Don't have to worry about that. Oh, is it the Nuclear Man? Because the other one's the DC one's called Atom, right? Those must be the Nuclear Man. And of course, we've got him. And now, so I've been after redheads, and this I could kind of get away with looking like if I get what is it? If I remove, I think these, I'm not sure, but if you put hot water, these would come off. So I could basically have my Incredigold head, right, on another figure. Another, like, even probably on Laura, right? If I was to get rid of things, but I don't want to do that. I'll find another female figure and I'll do that too. On top of, yeah, so I got the spare head, right? Which is pretty cool. I think that's just an extra from Carlos. And then there's this. Now I think there's a Fortnite figure, right? Now the body itself would work pretty cool if I was to do Incredigold, right? So if I remove the head, right? Hot water, right? They said, and replace the head with this one, but I think I've got another head that would work, and the body would be fine, but it will need some cleanup to make it clean. But I think the structure of the boots and all that could work. But yeah, who knows? But this Fortnite character, right, comes with all these. I'm really not sure what this is. Like, is it like it goes on his shoulder or something? Because you've got two different, like a gun or something. Or maybe they're both guns. Yeah. I'll have to find out. Right. So I guess one of these is supposed to be a gun, and one of them isn't. But this is a cool figure. Like, seriously, these figures are really well detailed. And I think I can't wait till we get our own Incredible figure looking something, classy. Like these figures. It'd be so cool. And I can go, yay! Oh, $1,500, dude. Not 15, maybe 15,000, something like 1,500 to come up with a design of that. That's not something can simply turn up or come up with. But over time, build up things, and over time you're able to do something. So there is that lot, and I've got a couple others here, and that's just the first box, guys. Right. So I might leave the second box till Thursday because I think that'll be cool. But I'll share the stuff in this box. And then, so the other thing I've got is I have a Doctor Strange. Now, I actually have Strange, which is written by JMS, a 6-issue figure. No, 6-issue comic book series. Let me see if they have it on here. Maybe see if it's worth anything. Character, no, title. Strange. Can do it. One sec, buddy. Doesn't look like it. No. Well, maybe it's the second page. Let me have a look. I'll show you guys. Nope. Okay, let's find out. So, JMS by Strange. Maybe it's in Mile High Comics. I'll be able to show you guys from this what I mean by why I got this. It's like usually I don't go by movies as such. I'm more like when it comes to toys and stuff, I'm more about comics. If I'm getting something, I'm about the comics. And I can't remember what year it came out. It's 2006. So 2004. There it is. Straczynski. So yeah, so let's have a look. I'll show you these, right? So let's zoom in a bit and I'll show you this series here. So this is a series that J. Michael Straczynski did. The guy we looked at last week, who did Babylon 5, right? We just put out, his animated movie just came out, which he wrote called Far From Home, right? So this is the series he wrote was Strange, and that's it talks about Strange losing his being a doctor, and there was an accident, and his hands got mangled, and so he went like Batman, right, to something Pandapal, I can't remember, where what's his name goes. Oh, that place that we saw, right? Like if you saw like Multiverse at the start there where they're battling it out at the temple thing, that place, right? And his hands get healed, he gets right again. So this is a series that kind of JMS kind of got him like an origin series. And this is a good book to start off on, I think, Personally, I think that's a good book to start off on, right? And it's a thinking man's comic book about Strange. Kind of, that's what I can think of. So these are US prices, of course, but they don't mean nothing to me. One day, if I meet J. Michael Straczynski, I'll be rocking up to him and say, "Can you please sign these? They mean a lot to me." Right? Oh, look, if you get a 9.5, I think I've got a 9. Like all mine, all the comics I ever get, they end up in Bag and Bone, right? What we call like slipcase, right? Like you get a plastic bag, and then you get a card, the white card in the back, so it's nice flat. So all mine are like that. So I reckon that mine are around 8, 7, 8, maybe even more. But yeah, so that's why I got this. I thought it'd be cool to have. It would be cool to have a JMS. That one, yeah, it would be cool to have a Doctor Strange. You know, this week it's kind of like, you know, I got my Babylon 5, and I've got my Doctor Strange. All I need now is my Thor. Well, I got enough Thors, but I mean, like, I need my Thor from his Thor run, right? And so on. So I can just basically have like that series kind of setup. Weird, I know, but it is what it is. So we finish up on the last figure. I think I actually got this for free. I'm not really sure what the deal with this was, whether if I paid extra for it or what, but I ended up with this, and I think I don't know what happened, but I got it. So I'm quite, it's here. So this is a die cast shell. Like the yellow is die cast, which means it's metal, but the rest is plastic. So this is kind of like, it's if you're kind of doing some sort of like setup, like a pose or something. What's that Batman thing? There you go. You could have your Batman set up like that, and you could have like, someone driving it, someone who's small enough to get in there. That he isn't, of course, or you can have him like posed and standing on there, right? The bat suit. I mean, not the bat suit, the Iron Man suit, right? So, yeah. So that's pretty cool. So you can have something like that. Oops. Now, the other, like I mentioned earlier about Carlos and I, that how he, he doesn't like I asked him how come he doesn't keep his, doesn't keep his stands. And he's like, well, I like to have my characters, toys, figures, whatever, stand on their own feet, right? And so whatever figures he gets that comes with a stand, he basically sells them, or I end up buying them. He just tells me I've got some, and I've got, okay, cool. So I end up with and the stickers that come with them, right? Sometimes. So I end up with cards and stickers. All right. Custom by Machu. Right. Here you go. You got a sticker from what's his name? Miles Morales. Right. So Black Panther sticker. Thanks for shopping with us. We hope to see you at Shop Disney again. Right. You got Thor. Thanks for shopping with us. Right. Deadman. So he's got all these figures. Right. Armored Batman. Oh, I don't think I have an Armored Batman. Dark Knight Trilogy. I'm not sure if I have that one. Don't have that Joker either, though. So yeah, these are all the the Rebirth. Yep. So I don't actually have these characters. Oh, I think I have a Deadman. Wait. I was going to get a Deadman, but he realized that he needed the Deadman for something else, so I didn't end up getting it. But I actually had a Deadman, like I showed you. Yeah. That's why so I wasn't too fussed, so I was quite okay with it. But yeah. So, but yeah, I got all these to make my character stand up now, because I like them standing. I don't like them I like them standing on a stand, right? Doesn't matter what stand they're from. I just like them standing on a stand because I don't want them flopping around. and getting knocked, because I'm always moving around, and because I walk with a cane, all the time basically. I kind of like move awkwardly anyway, and this is before even getting a slip disc this week. So yeah, so you got that, and the really cool thing about this is a latex, right, cape, which is really flimsy. So it's, got that both sides. I do like his character. I wasn't too fussed about the movie, but I think, I think when you have when you put out so much stuff that they have done, and not just stick to, just making TV, like movie, like the comic books, just on movies, not for TV. Choose one or the other, right? And so I think that's what really bothered them, kind of like brought on this whole. There we go, standing perfectly. Oh, you can't see it, of course. So let's put this away, and I can show you I'm standing perfectly. So all these cards and stuff can go over there. Whoops, out of the way. And we'll finish up here, and we're going to leave the other lot for next week on Thursday for our toy collection. And one of the other reasons I want to jump on here today was to say tomorrow, right? So here's a little promo code. Tomorrow, guys, we have, let's try this again. Tomorrow on Plungecast, we have, sheesh. Just kidding. Tomorrow on Plungecast, viewers, friends, YouTubers, wherever you are, we have Robert Meyer Burnett, who's the producer of Trekkies, Trekkies 2, Trekkies 3, and so many other stuff that he works on. Such a hive of knowledge is all I can think of about film, television, storytelling, documentary, just so much knowledge, Star Trek. And I'm so excited to have him on, just as much as I was excited to have Paulie on last week. This week, it was last week. This week, I'm excited to have Robert Meyer Burnett tomorrow on Plungecast, on the Plunge Pop show. Now, what is Plunge Pop? The Plunge Pop show is basically talking to YouTubers, right? Pop culture YouTubers, right? They're out there talking about pop culture. So that's what the Plunge Pop series is. We have different series for comics and stuff like that, and for toys and stuff. So I invite you, if you're a YouTuber with any sort of anything that related to pop culture that you're out there, I invite you to come on and hit me up. Send me an email. It's on About. You can see the email there. Send me email, and I've been sending out emails as well and requesting people to come join me. I don't care who you are. If you're out there, if you're talking about pop culture, Plunge Pop is where I want you to come and talk and have a conversation with me, like two friends over coffee, right? We're just discussion, just a friendly chat about what you're passionate about, how you got to here, what made you decide to do it. Come out and do YouTube like myself. What got you out here, and let's have a discussion about what you're passionate about. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about Star Trek and storytelling, and how I feel like there's no soul left in Star Trek. I don't know why I feel that way, but I just feel there's nothing there anymore. And I've had too many injuries to remember things in Star Trek, but I know enough in my heart and soul, because I've watched that thing for about almost 40 years, right? Or maybe, around 40 years. And so it's the one thing that's always been a part of me and has been one of my longest running things. I haven't read the books. The books didn't really matter to me to read. I have them. I have a few of them. I have a few of the scripts, kind of like the original scripts and stuff. I have I have like the Captain's Log, the big books. I had the, Generations and novelizations, but I just stuck to the TVs and movie shows, and that became my passion for that. I have figurines behind me on the side here, and they were behind me, but they're moving things around a bit, so they're better displayed. But I have posters. I have 50-year-old, 25-year-old anniversary posters. I have a hat signed by Peter David. But I don't know what's going on. I can't tell you why I feel what I feel. I just know it's not there. So tomorrow, I'm hoping to maybe Robert will be able to articulate what I can't articulate, and we can have a good discussion about storytelling and coming in from different ways and hearing what he has to say about it. And I was quite surprised. I don't know. I just saw his show, and that was all I knew about him. And then I kind of did search for him, and then came up with all this other stuff. And I was like, and one of my friends reached out and said, "Hey, how'd you get Robert?" And I said, "I just asked, emailed him." And he said, "Yes." So I'm grateful for that. So for tomorrow, please come hang out. I think it's 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock US. It's midday for us in New Zealand. So in the PM, right, you can settle down, have your dinner, settle down and watch the show. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm, had a slip this last Sunday. So now I've been resting myself. So I'm hoping my back is fine. I haven't had too much pain while I'm sitting here. But please come and join us tomorrow, midday for New Zealand, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock US time. And whatever time that is all around the world, please check your, click on the notify, right? And you'll be able to see exactly what time. So from me, ka kite anō, it is now 4:45 in the morning. So I've been going for 2 hours. I didn't even realize. Thank you for joining me. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed talking to you guys about what I love and what I'm passionate about. And, collecting toys, talking about movies. Check out, Deathlock. What, not Deathlock, Metopoclis. Metopoclis? Army of the Doomstar has just come out. But if you're into metal, but if you're into animation, of course, and music and stuff, right? But thank you for joining me. Ka kite anō, wherever you are. Be well, be safe. We'll see you tomorrow.